Hello, everyone. This will be the pregame in air quotes February type pregame or late January, early March type pregame. Chad Ozzie to my right, and then we have Dave Rafalski to my left. Both above average officials, above experience. So we're not going to be speaking on simple mechanic stuff. We may browse over them quickly, but ultimately we're going to concentrate on a February type pregame and talk about more in detail stuff. So an advanced type pregame here in February. So we'll get started. So Chad, Dave, I just got a couple questions before we get started. Have any of you seen these two teams that we're about to have today? Has anybody seen that? Have you seen that?
I've not had either of these teams.
Have you either one?
Nope.
Not this year, but have you had them in the past?
Yes, I had one. I had the home team last year.
Okay, good. All right. And how about you, Dave?
Yeah, I had one of the teams earlier this season.
And this year?
This year.
Okay, good. And then you probably had them in the past. So everyone knows what we're dealing with here as far as coaches, their players. I think, I've had the visiting team also. I've had them, a couple of years now. I do know that he's real sensitive to the point guard. The coaches are pretty sensitive to the point guard in teams where we got to really be focused on hands-on, those multiple touches, because that, for one, if that guard is held up in any way, she's not going to be freed up. Coach is going to be a little sensitive to that, then we're going to have a whole other issue on that. So, not that we don't want to look at ignoring fouls by any means, but we really want to be sensitive to those kind of things that coaches are sensitive to. Their number one player. Now the other team, the visiting team, I'm sorry, that was visiting. For the home team, they have a really big post player. So they're trying real hard to get that ball into her, so she can get some easy baskets. I think last time I saw it, went back and looked at the box score for the last time they matched up. Their big post player had over 20, so that's their go-to person. That being said, I think we need to be real cognizant, because that other coach is going to want us to keep an eye on 3 seconds. If they feel like they're camping in the lane, that's how they get 20 points, because they don't get out of the lane. So we got to really be in tune on that. I'm not saying look for 3 seconds, but be able to have those answers, whether or not they got out and things like that. So, how about you, Dave? Remember anything about that team?
The visiting team, not much. I just, like you said, that's their main go-to player, and that's their scorer. So just kind of, like you said, heighten our awareness towards her.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point to emphasize there. The coach is a little difficult at times protecting that player, so I think we touched on already. Let's be aware of what the feedback we're getting from the coach early on.
Yeah, I think that I haven't really had a problem communicating with the coach, but that coach can get elevated pretty quickly if that doesn't get addressed. Whatever the issue that they might have doesn't get addressed. Minimum recognizing that. Right. So have you had that coach before?
I've had the home coach before.
Okay,
I had the home coach last year.
Okay, but you've had the visiting coach
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago. So how they can get a little elevated. So whatever you have as far as communication skills, there might be something every last little tool, all the way to the bottom of the toolbox, maybe try that one, see if that one works. Because this is a 1-2 matchup in the conference. The winner of this, is going to be in first place of the conference. They still have a few more games, but this game means a lot. Every possession, every timeout, all those things. So, we're not going to, I don't want to say we want to give them more leash by any means, but we want to make sure that we hear everything they're saying, and we want to really communicate as much. I remember one time a referee told me, he said, if we were ever going to have our perfect game, tonight's the night. So if we can try and pull that off in all aspects, play calling, communication, dead ball officiating, all that stuff. So that being said, with it being a 1-2 matchup, even something as simple as maybe a second or 2 off the clock, that even though we probably don't think it's a big deal because it's a 15-point ball game in the third period, let's still process that. Let's still take care of that, because we know this still has a long way to go, and we can go back and fix that, 1 or 2 seconds, whether that be in replay or whatever that is. When we go to replay, if we have situations where, I tend to think like this. If it's out of bounds, we know we have to have indisputable evidence, right? So if Chad and I are going to the replay, and if I have to bring you in to get a final decision, then it's probably not indisputable.
Right.
Indisputable means you've looked at it, it takes a couple seconds, boom, yep, we're good.
Right.
We're gonna change it. If we're spending, obviously assuming it comes up properly, it comes up right away. If we're spending time, let's bring you in and, let's do all this, it's probably not indisputable. Let's go with the call on the floor. That being said, don't assume, I'm not gonna assume if you have an out of bounds play, I'm not gonna wait for you to tell me we need to review it. Right? If I have an out of bounds play in the last 2 minutes, and I'm not gonna wait, I don't want you to wait for me to say, oh, Jeff, that's his play, is he wants to review it or not? We don't want to do it like that. Sometimes we need others to think for us because we still are processing restricted area. We still are processing out of bounds. And meanwhile, as an outside official, you can go, oh yeah, let me help. Let me at least pause him by a conversation, leaves a window open. If we pause the game in order to, okay, can we go look at this? Do we want to go look at it? Those kind of things. So. And even I think it's our language that we use with each other. Our language that we use with each other instead of, do you want to go look at that? I would say, let's go look at that, Chad. Because if you're really sold on the play, and I say to you, do you want to go look at it? Well, you're already convinced you got it right. That's why you went this way. So that's the time where we want to steer the conversation.
Right. Yeah, well, I think we just want to make sure we're all approachable, right?
Yeah.
So I think that starts here in our pregame.
Yeah.
Bring that onto the court. So having a good feel here. I'm a strong believer it starts right here.
Yeah.
So we have that good comfort level with each other. I'll take that onto the court, and then I could go to Chad or I could come to you, Jeff, and say, hey, let's take a look at that. And I know that you're not going to belittle me or just shy me away.
Yeah, and even if you come and say, hey, Jeff, let's go look at that, I may ask, or maybe you go to Chad and say, Chad, let's go look at that. And then Chad, hey, we're going to go look at that. And I may ask why. We need to ask why, because maybe we're not within the rules to go look at a play. So what are we going to look at? Why are we looking at something? Those kind of things.
Yeah,
so,
can we look at it, right?
Yeah, so that's where those conversations are going to be in detail. We need to make sure we're saying the right words. Let's not rush through it. Slow and steady wins these kind of races. And the other thing I like to talk about in February too, obviously all year long, but it's even more imperative this time of year, is we need to make sure that we have the proper people in the game. There's a lot of subs that come in and out in the last 2 minutes or even in the last minutes of periods and stuff, trying to get the right defender in and the right offensive player in. So, if we have a delay, let's take an extra beat to maybe even sometimes up to 30 seconds to make sure we got proper players in. I always like to mention, if the visiting team brings a sub in, well, the first thing I do is look at the home team. Do they want to match that up? If there's some sort of shuffle, take a deep breath with the ball, do something so we can get that, when we hand the ball in and now that player is not on the bench, well, now this, whatever coaches might be, is going to be a little on edge because they feel like they're underhanded now. They don't feel like they are able to have the proper matchup on the floor. So that's going to help the game in general. Does that make sense?
No, I like that because even the home team, I know Coach there likes to shuffle in 3 at a time on occasion. So it's good point.
Yeah. So that's real good. I think we can save ourselves a lot of issues if we do that. So also another official told me one time that sometimes they become sensitive to things when a coach or a player becomes sensitive to it. They're just out adjudicating rules, right? They don't necessarily see one rule as being any more issue than the other, which is true. That's how we work the game. But if a coach is sensitive to a spot, well, now I need to be a little bit more sensitive. If a defender, or a player is sensitive to whether or not they're getting backed out in the post or something like that, then I need to be sensitive to those things. If we can do that, that's going to elevate our game where coaches are feeling comfortable. And I like to use this phrase, especially in February. My dad taught me this. He said, if he was a car salesman, and he said a good deal is a state of mind. That's what it is. So whether you pay too much or not to make a difference, if I believe I got a good deal, then I got a good deal. Same thing with coaches and players. Consistency is a state of mind. if they believe it's consistent and they believe they're getting a fair game, then that's a state of mind for them, and that is going to go a long way. So do our best to put them in that right state of mind. So how about you, Chad? Anything else you want to add here, or what are you thinking?
No, I mean, this is why we do this. You know, this is a great matchup at a great point in the season. Like you said, you know, first place is kind of on the line right now. We know it's going to make a difference for conference tournament, for everything else. And so, you know, because I've worked with both of you guys, I feel comfortable tonight. I'm ready to get out there and work.
Yeah, you know, this is the part we look for, right? You know, and I always like to make mention to everyone in our crew, when we get games in late February, you know, early March, you know, I always like to say we did it. You know, we did it. We went through the complete grind, and here we are in the, you know, whatever, the 1-2 matchup, last game of the conference, you know, before the tournament starts. We've seen all the video clips, you know, we've done all the quizzes, we've done all the tests, we've done everything, and we did it. This, as much as we want to be correct all the time, we still need to take some you know, joyous rah to
Right.
that we made it. We made it to this spot. You know, it's a difficult job to referee. It's even more difficult to get that game in late February, early March.
Yeah.
And when you get it, you need to celebrate with it. So, I mean, I'm thankful that I get a chance to celebrate with you three, you know, with the two of you guys, and you know, we also need to express that celebration to the coaches, to the players. We're excited to be part of it. You know, we understand it's their game. We're just here to administer as much as possible and within the rules. You know, but we're here to celebrate with you. We're excited for you that you made it to the 1-2 matchup, and this is going to be a big game.
All right.
I like to say things even like, you know, when at the captain's meeting, I'll say stuff like, you know, hey, you know, we've been pre-gaming for, you know, the last 45 minutes and looking forward to this game. So we're on board with you guys. We're on board with it. So
I like that. Yeah.
how about you, Dave? Anything else to add?
No, it's good. Like you said, we don't. It's good to kind of let them know, hey, it's not about us. It's about you guys.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're happy to be here.
Yeah.
We're part of this moment. We're going to put the best product we can out there.
Yeah.
You know, expect the same out of you.
Yeah. You know, the probably the thing I'll say in the final quotes here, when we get on the floor, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I love when I get on the floor, everything I have been doing all day long, the travel, the work, the kids, the wives, whatever it is, it goes on the back burner.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's how I feel when I walk on the floor. So I feel like I'm going to do my best to be engaged as much as possible with the two of you guys, both coaches, all players on the floor, scorers table. Let's not forget those guys, you know, because those people have so much information over there, and we think we're the only ones that have to have it. If we're not going over there, someone speak up and go, hey, what about the table? You think the table might have time of possession, or you think the table might have, you know, who's supposed to be on the floor, or whatever that is. So it's going to be great for us to be able to do that. And if we just, you know, cut it in 5-minute increments. Get through the first 5 minutes. Whew! All right, we get the first 5 minutes, 2-point ball game. You know what I mean? We're in a timeout. Let's grab the next 5 minutes. And if it gets really tough, 5 minutes of time, then let's cut that baby in half. Let's just go 2.5 minutes, or let's just go 2 minutes. Okay, I made it to the single digits. You know what I mean? Or I made it to we're just at the tenths of a second now. So those are the kind of things that I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big self-talk person. I love to talk to myself. If you were in my head, there's a good chance you would probably call a mental institution. You would be like, oh, I don't know what cross the second. So, you know, do what you have to do. You know, and I say it all year long, and I'll say it again. We don't get bonus points. We didn't get to March or late February in this game because during the timeout we all stood in our proper positions. We just didn't get there. We got there because we got together during the timeout and discussed the things we need to discuss. And then we're going to do that as much as possible, as often as possible, until it's over.
Right.
Till the final horn goes off and we get a chance to go to the locker room. So
I agree. We get there got there by doing the little things, right?
Mhm.
Those little things need to continue within that game.
yeah.
Right? So
Let me ask you this, Dave, just since we're on that. What is one thing that you've put into your game that you haven't, that you know maybe you did do in the past, but now you're doing something that you put in your game that you think has kind of elevated your game a little bit? whether big or small.
Well, one of the things is being myself, right? Before, you know, you try to put up a guard or try to be too protective. You know, okay, I got to be by the rules, right? I got we're robots out there.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not necessarily the case. Be yourself. It's going to be reflected. It's going to be contagious. Whether, you know, put that smile on your face around your court, your team, your crew's going to see it. The players, the coaches are going to see that. So I think you should be true to yourself. Be who you are. It's going to go a lot further. And I wish I would have done that back in the past instead of just being so straight line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what helped me.
It's easier for you to be yourself.
Easier for you to be yourself.
And it's easier for us to realize that that's who you are.
Right. You know, we talk about mindsets, right?
Mm-hmm.
The mindset I developed, what I portray in my life, what I carry out day in and day out. Bring that to the court. Why shouldn't I?
Yep.
Right? That's who I am.
Yep.
And that's the focus and the mindset I'm going to have.
And it's so much easier for maybe me and Chad to come up and say, hey Dave, you got to play wrong. You know what I mean? We need to change this out of bounds play or whatever that is, if we know that you're just being who you are.
Right. Or even if I'm checked out for that day for some reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know that's not Dave.
Yeah.
Or hey, I know that's not Chad. So what's going on? So
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
Let's
Like
fix
I
it
said.
right away because we got a big game ahead of us, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How about you, Chad?
I think for me, part of the deal is taking every play one at a time. You know, sometimes, you know, hey, we get in the third quarter, things are tight, blow a call, miss something, lose the time of possession, whatever. You know, being able to quickly flush that, move on that, because the next one's going to be just as important, if not more so. And, you know, it goes back to the self-talk that you were talking about a minute ago. You know, if I'm not in my head saying, okay, we know we didn't have that one where we needed it to be, but now we got to go on to the next one. You know, that's going to be big for me tonight.
Yeah, good. I think that's a great adjustment. You know, that's something we just don't think about, you know, and especially when we get in the middle of the game. Here I am, you know, late February, early March, and now you've kind of got in your own head like, oh my, I can't believe I missed that play in the first period, and here's the fourth period, and I continue to miss them, you know. So, you know, do whatever you have to do. I tell people, I've shared this in the past, but, you know, everyone needs a mistake recovery program, you know, something that's going to, they can recover from that mistake quickly. Whatever that is, so a mistake recovery process, whatever it is, and you know, I have a few little things that I like to do that kind of gets me on to the next page. So, whatever's gonna get you to, you know, understand you made a mistake, recover from it quickly as possible. Because the sooner you do that, the better off we're going to be within the, you know, the 40 minutes.
Right.
Hopefully, 40 minutes. So,
That's true.
all right. Anything else you want to add, Dave?
No, I think it's, you know, we learn every game. You know, right? We talk about there's no perfect official, no matter how your elite status is. No one's perfect. So we always continue to learn.
Yeah.
And you have to. If not, then, you know, I don't think you'll be in the right kind of frame of mind for this game.
Yep.
You know, it's a developmental sport, no matter how you look at it, from officials, coaches, or even players standpoint.
Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to get done tonight. We're going to develop some more.
Yeah.
We're not going to wash our hands and say, okay, well, we're done.
Yeah.
We're going to develop some more for a potential, you know, maybe an email or a phone call later in March,
Right.
or, you know, for the next year. So,
Yeah.
how about you, Chad?
That's good.
Oh.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Chad?
Absolutely. Let's stay focused. Let's do our best, and let's have a little fun while we're out there.
Yeah, let's have a great time. So we'll come out of it injury free.